Hi, my name is Hadar Freeling from VMware. I'm a security specialist. And today we're going to talk about how you can leverage NSX and VDI to help manage your third-party access or contractor access into your data center. Now, as we all know, this is a problem that organization has been facing for some time. There have been some pretty large breaches which occurred where a contractor or third party had access to the data center, their access was compromised, and so the company was compromised, right? Traditionally, we have your third party connecting in, over the cloud somewhere, and they have two options traditionally, right? They have maybe a virtual desktop environment, a VDI, and that's in its own little DMZ. Or they might be actually on-prem, sitting inside of your office, and they have access to a jump box of some sort inside your data center, right? This is a jump box inside your data center. This is how traditionally we've done, and we've been really good about securing the access to these jump boxes, right? We do two-factor authentication, we maybe do IP, whitelisting, we do all kinds of things to make sure that only the appropriate users are coming into those specific boxes. Well, what happens afterwards? How do we control the access out of these boxes? And then what do we do once they're in, right? This is our data center, right? Once they get onto this server, which of course is virtualized, how do we control the access once they're inside, right? These are some of the issues that we're dealing with, and this is where NSX can help. With NSX, we have two things that are going to help you with this situation. One is we can actually do firewalling at the virtual NIC of every one of these VMs, both the virtual desktops and the server. And why that's important is that we can apply a security policy or the firewall rules on a per user basis. So for example, in a VDI environment, be it in a DMZ or maybe even inside your data center, and maybe on the same network as this server here, we can apply a firewall rule here, and this firewall rule would be specific for user Jim. So user Jim comes into this jump box, he gets the appropriate user access that he should. We can leverage Active Directory, we can use security profiles, we can use policies. There's all kinds of ways we are able to apply the proper firewall rules to this specific VM. And that could be a jump box or it could be a VDI. So if Jim logs into here, Jim gets the right set of rules here as well. So that's great. Now Jim has only access to the coming out of his virtual desktop to this server here, right? So now he makes that connection point. I'm going to pick a different color here. He makes that allowed connection through the firewall, and now he's connecting to this VM. Awesome. He does what he needs to do. But here's the problem, right? How do you limit Jim from not jumping off that VM to this VM, which is sitting right next door, nice layer 2 network? How do you keep him isolated to this specific machine? You gave him access. He's doing something that he's supposed to be doing, but how do you then isolate him, right? That has been a very difficult thing for us to be able to do, and this is where NSX again comes into play. What you can create is a rule that says once Jim is attached to this workload, I'm going to basically isolate this workload to say, you know what? I'm going to say no RDP, no SSH, and maybe I could say no any access except for 80 and 443. Maybe I don't even want to allow internet access. You can decide. But what I've done now is created a isolated workload when Jim is attached to it. As soon as Jim is disconnected or is no longer on that machine, I can remove this access and it will go back to how it was, which is wide open. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you create that isolation that you have in place here. But this is allowing you to create boundaries for your third party or your developers or whoever it is that's roaming inside your data center, and you limit their access to go east-west and to roam to servers they shouldn't have access to. Because if you're a hacker and you're inside somebody's data center, this is your golden ticket. Once you get into a workload inside the data center and it's wide open, there's nothing typically preventing me from going from here to here, and from here on and on till I have everything I want. With NSX, I can basically kill that access right before it goes anywhere inside your data center, and you're really creating that limited access, that whole idea of zero trust, where you're really not trusting the user, You're not even trusting the server. So you're really limiting and isolating the workloads as best you can, yet you're still allowing production to work and everything else to function. And this is some of the power that you can leverage with NSX.